This video, I'm going to look at a multi-activity Android app that uses WebViews. Okay, so if I have already sort of multiple activities at the main activity, and I added two other activities. If I wanted to add another activity, I would right-click up here above the activities and say new activity, and I want an empty views activity. So that's how I made after main activity, which was sort of given in by the default project. I added two activities. When I do that, it adds this Kotlin code that we will look at. It adds these XMLs that we will also look at. It adds something to the manifest, which I'm going to edit. So let's look at that first. So one, I am using WebViews. I'm going to go out to the web. So in one thing we had to do over here in the Android manifest was to add permission to use the internet. And I'm going to Yahoo and CNN. So these are HTTPS protocol. And so, but if I were going to an HTTP protocol that was not encrypted, then I would need to add a further attribute here in the application, but I don't need it here. Okay, another thing I did here in the manifest was I like a sort of a sort of easy way back. And that involves sort of specifying that these activities that I called Web Yahoo and Web CNN have a parent, and so the main activity is their parent. So it gave me, when I sort of right click here and say, give me a new activity, empty activity, and give it a name, it gave me it added automatically to the Android manifest, but it did not, the specific property of the Android parent activity, it did not give me that. I edited by hand. So that's what's in the manifest. That's how I got the second and third Kotlin, how I got the second and third XML. Before I start getting into them and get too distracted, let's show a thing I did in themes. The default theme had an additional thing here, which I took out about sort of no bars, and I wanted the bar. You're going to see I have these bars at the top that I'm going to use to return from those web activities back to the main activity. And so I took out that part of the theme so that I would have a bar and could have this sort of old-fashioned, but I'm old-fashioned, what can I say, way to return. Okay. Now let's, the main activity here is just buttons, as you see, some little text view and some buttons. And so the web CNN is just a text view and this web view. Let me show you in design that the web view is under widgets. So I could sort of drag out a widget, and I'm in a constraint layout. So give it some constraints and give the name and ID and so on. So there's not much to this activity. It's pretty much just the web activity. And let's go back to code. So the web activity, we're not doing much with it here in design, just getting it the basic layout constraints and an ID. So everything else is going to be over in Kotlin. And the Yahoo one was the same, different ID, but the same idea. Okay. And then the main activity was to connect the buttons in code to the buttons on the interface, and then to have click events for each button, and they start a new int. They set up an intent and start the activity corresponding to that intent. So this was the web Yahoo one, this was the web CNN one. Okay. And now here is the web CNN, and the web Yahoo will be similar. I have this code at the top to give us this action bar. So we see these action bars. And that's what I had to change the theme for to allow this. And then this allows me to sort of go home. So I'm going to just say the action bar at the top of the CNN is going to say CNN. But it's really going to, it'll have an arrow, and clicking on that arrow will take me back. So let's show that here. I've got it running. Click on the CNN button. I get, takes me a little while to load just the CNN. And then here is this sort of, I'm returning from CNN to the main activity. So that is this action bar that we're doing up here. So the CNN there was from this title, an action bar we're allowing, and that takes us back to the parent. So that's why I had to edit the Android manifest to make the main activity the parent. So I could use a simple action bar and take us back. So I needed to do something in the manifest for that, to find the parent activity, and I needed to do something in the theme, because the theme was saying no action bar, and I said I took that out because I wanted an action bar. And then here's our simple code for the web view. I am connecting code to interface. We have to, most web pages use JavaScript, but that is setting for the web view to allow JavaScript. So JavaScript enabled equals true. It's one of the settings of the web view. And then we're loading the URL. So that is going to take us to, so well, the taking us to the site is the clicking of the button in main activity, but then this this code, when the activity is called, sort of takes us to CNN, but within the context of the activity. So we're still sort of in our app, but we have this, we're on the web, but not as a sort of distinct separate intent on its own, but within the context of our app. And that is the web view. And that's what I wanted to show you here in this one. I think that's all. Thanks for your attention.